All right. Hi, I'm Nick. I work at a company called Galoy, and for my project, I did a BTCPay server plugin. So why? I think it's pretty obvious why. Banks are failing left and right. You see what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. You see what's happening with Credit Suisse right now. They just got acquired by UBS, if you haven't been paying attention with the news the last hour. But yeah, banks are failing before our eyes. You know, this is why we're in Bitcoin. So we should all be our own banks. So BTCPay server, it's hard to say, is a great solution to be your own bank. But it works really good for on-chain Bitcoin. But once you start managing your own Lightning node, there's a lot you have to do: opening channels, managing liquidity. So I wanted to build a Lightning. So Galoy basically has a Lightning node for the Bitcoin Beach wallet. So what I wanted to do was integrate that into BTCPay server, so you can outsource the Lightning node management to a company like Galoy, or you could host it yourself, or go to any of the other great Lightning service providers. So if you're not familiar with the statistics right here, back in 1984, there used to be 14,000 different banks, largely local community banks. But as you see now, this is from a few years ago, we're down to less than 4,000 banks. So you can see it's centralizing, which is terrifying for freedom. Just think of the 4 banks running all of our bank accounts. The government is just going to eventually have a social credit score system. So as Bitcoiners, we need to make sure we run our own banks and we get those numbers up. So that's one of the nice tools is BTCPay server. You can run your own server. Like I said earlier, it's a little bit hard to run a Lightning node. So I wanted to write a plugin to do that. So this is a little bit of the architecture. You got a BTCPay server. You're hosting it yourself. You manage your on-chain Bitcoin. But for Lightning, you can outsource it to like Galoy with our API. I'm not going to go through this, but we've got a whole open source stack. All of our code is open source. Pull it down and get it if you want to. So now demo time. So right here is a BTC, I can't freaking say that word. It's a pay server. Let's just say that. So you can basically do your own store. So for instance, if you're running a meetup, maybe you want to go to Cooper's after BitDevs and you create an invoice for $30. And if you ever use BTCPay server, it's very easy to view that invoice. And I'm sure you've all seen this screen before. You get the nice fancy pay with Bitcoin, which works awesome for Bitcoin. There's like nothing to manage. You just run your BTCPay server, everything works. But once you go down to Lightning, there's a lot you have to manage that a lot of people just don't know how to manage the Lightning server, or it's just a pain in the butt to do. So that's why I created this plugin. So if you go down here, I've got this plugin down here that says Galoy. And if I click it, you can see this is our application running in the background. I already logged in. You basically have a token in the background which hooks up to my wallet. So this is actually real Bitcoin. So let me hit the receive button. And if people want to get their Lightning wallets out, if someone wants to pay my couple Satoshi invoice, I'll make it real cheap. I'll do, let's just do 100 Satoshis. Oh, that's $100. You don't want to pay that. Let's do 100 Satoshis. That's 3 cents. Let me update the invoice. So yeah, if anyone's got a phone, if anyone wants to pay that. Hold on, you guys see it? And I got paid. So yeah, if I go back to the home page, you can see I've got paid. So I'm still working on some of the tighter integrations to actually embed like a BTCPay server invoice. But for the most part, everything's there. Galoy has this concept of a stable synthetic US dollar. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but essentially you could do that as well. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, hey, one of the things Nick didn't mention is if BTCPay server lets you be your own bank, Galoy lets you be your own community bank. So if we take the Uncle Jim concept, you can now spool out this banking service for many of your family and friends and associates of ill repute.
Yes. Are you got a question? Yeah. So you showed it in operation, but like, what does this like setup process look like, right? So because that's the hard part with Lightning is you get it set up and you create the channels. But I want to create this for my community. It's just install the plugin, and I've got liquidity. I can start receiving and spending and all that.
Yeah, because we're hosting the Lightning node for you, but Galoy is all open source, so you can host it yourself. And I actually did a workshop at Pleb Lab, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. If you go to the Pleb Lab chat, I show you how to basically set up your own Galoy instance. There's a little bit of background with Kubernetes you need to know because we're a Kubernetes stack. But yeah, I did a workshop at Pleb Lab a few weeks ago if you want to set up your own Galoy instance. So, yeah.
If you're setting up your own Galoy instance, though, then you're still having to do all the liquidity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just wanted to make sure like it's open source, you can run it yourself, but you know it's a pain in the butt, so you're probably just going to use somebody else. So that was
Makes
kind of
it easier in your BTCPay server to connect to Galoy's.
yes, exactly. Yep, just our API, our GraphQL API.
Or if you set one up and everybody can use it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right, thank you.
Plug in